Hello and welcome to part 6 of this walkthrough for Steve Jackson's Sorcery. In our last video, we met Flanker and spared his life, we met Garza Moon, and we went through the village of Torapani, where we've talked to the chief and agreed to save his daughter Tia from the dreaded jaws of the Manticore. It's time to end Book 1. You were led along a short pathway through the forest to a crack in the ground. One spin has brought a rope and another a basket. They are preparing to lower you down into the pit of earth itself. Select the option, Take the Adventure. You wait until they are ready and then step into the basket. The chief nods to you with respect. Watch the darkness, he declares, as he starts to lower you down. You hit the floor with a thud and try to peer into the darkness. Your eyes can make nothing out, but a slight breeze suggests that this is a really big cave. You are blind, helpless, and trapped, and then something clatters to your feet from above. One of the Svens shouts something down to you. Select Feel Around on the ground. As you crouch down and feel around your feet, your hand closes on the base of something. You pick it up and find out that it's a dry wood torch. Something else falls from above and strikes you on the head. Tinderbox, calls the voice. Select Feel Around for the tinderbox. You rub the bruise on your head, but eventually you find it. Select Light the torch and click Continue. Go to the flag below. You can now see that you're in a large cavern, wide and deep. At the far end are passageways that disappear to the left and to the right, and this is the part where Van Cass's riddle comes into play. You would have got one of two riddles. If your riddle said, greet travellers who, of luck bereft, take passageways not to the left, keep selecting the left option over and over. I know it's weirdly phrased, but he's basically saying that unlucky travellers went the other way. However, if your riddle was, greet those with the most diresome plight, who turn down paths not to the right, you need to keep selecting the right option for the same reasons. Pause the video here and continue once you find the Sven girl, where the option Come With Me is displayed. You follow the passageway when you hear an echo of whimpering coming up the corridor. Your torchlight falls across a frail shape. Hiding in the shadows is the young Sven girl, stacking stones into hundreds of little towers. Come with me. You hold out your hand and the girl takes it and gets to her feet. We'll have to be quiet, she hisses, or else... Suddenly, there is a loud roaring from the mouth of the short cavern. The walls begin to shake and crumble. The Sven's stone towers topple and scatter. To one side, a gap in the rubble begins to open, letting through a mean shaft of light. But before you head for it, the roaring sound is joined by a scream from the Sven girl. You turn slowly and peer into the gloom back along the tunnel. Is there something moving? Something coming closer? Perhaps the roaring is the wind rushing through the tunnels. Click Continue and go to the flag. Something is coming. You hear the scraping sound of claws on rock, and the exit from the tunnel is blocked by a dark and looming shape. A Manticore. Huge. Terrible. It stands between you and the light, and howls in bloody rage. So let's look at the creature. The Manticore is a foul hybrid created by the evil sorcerers of old, and steeped in bitter self-hatred. It has a lion's body and the tail of a scorpion, but its face is that of an old man, and its thoughts are cruel and resentful. As it sees you, it rears back, flapping two enormous wings on its back. Now you've got two options here. If you're an absolute crazy person, you can select the Fight the Creature option, but just fair to warn you, the Manticore is very, very tough. If you choose to do that, pause the video and continue once the Manticore has been slain. Otherwise, I recommend to select Use Magic and Cast a Spell. Now our first spell is going to be used to weaken the Manticore, and that's going to be Doze. So select D, O, Z, and cast. The Manticore makes half a turn, preparing to swing its tail at us, but then pauses and shakes its head. It's become confused, and we're going to take advantage of the moment. Select Cast a Spell again. And this time we're going to summon a giant, which is Yob. Select Y, O, B, and cast. You drop a giant's tooth onto the floor and quickly cast your spell. A cloud of smoke gathers around the tooth, and as it clears, a large giant stands in its place. He is armed with a spiked club and sets about the Manticore with loud crashing blows. Select Stay Back. You stay back, desperate to avoid the deadly flinging tail. The fight is titanic, with the giant's incredible strength and the Manticore slow and lumbering under the effects of your spell. For a moment you think this is the end. The giant lands a colossal blow, but then, with 2 accurate flicks of its sting, the Manticore catches the giant first in the side and then in the head. Your champion falls and hits the rock floor with an enormous crash. A moment later he is nothing but a puff of smoke. The Manticore roars, making the walls of the chamber shake. But listening closely, you can hear a note of fear in its too human voice. It is still a beast of ferocious strength, but you have weakened it. You will have to make the next and final spell matter, or take the task with your sword. At this point there are 2 spells I'd recommend depending on what you're wanting to do. If you want to defeat the Manticore straight away, go to Cast a Spell and do Zap. That's Z-A-P. The Manticore will be too weak to fight further, and you can choose to finish it off with your sword. However, what I'd recommend to do instead is cast the spell Six, as in S-I-X. This will enter a fight with the Manticore, and I just think that's an awesome way to end Book 1, fighting the Manticore with your sword. But whichever way you choose to do it, pause the video and continue once the Manticore is defeated. Congratulations on defeating the Manticore and saving the Spin Girl. Your journey is almost through. Select the option Continue. Go to the flag Escape. You follow the girl back to the entrance, where you wave the torch hoping to attract attention. Select Tell the girl to call up. Girl, call to your father. The child nods mutely, then bawls at the top of her lungs, Briseus, I'm here. Then something drops down, a rope with a basket on the end. Get in together, the chief calls from above. We'll pull you both up. Select Send the girl up first. You lift the girl into the basket and call up, Haul away. The spins give a great cry and begin to pull, and the basket starts to slowly rise, spinning as it goes. The girl waves to you as she disappears up into the sunlight. Then she is gone. Select Wait. Select Wait again. And then select Wait a little longer. You settle down on your rucksack. You can imagine the celebration going on above ground. The tears and grateful reunion. No surprise if they lose track of you down here in the dark. And then, sure enough, the basket and rope tumble down. You clamber quickly inside and they haul you up. Above ground, the chief himself helps you out into the grass. His daughter is with him, clutching his hand. My daughter tells you fight bravely, he says. For that I'm grateful. I invite you back with us, back to Torapani. Will you come? Select Continue. Select the flag back to Torapani. A little generosity cannot hurt you. You nod. I will come. As you enter the village, it erupts into celebration. You are given a place to stay and recuperate from your long journey. A visit to the healing priest treats your wounds, and when you emerge, it is to find the village, before so silent and sombre, now full of life. Flowers are tied to every rooftop and bands of spins are playing music. You are whisked away into the dance by Proseus' daughter before the chief can welcome you to the feast. The night is glorious. That night you sleep heavily and rise the next morning to continue your journey. The chief meets you before you go. My good friend, he declares, you have saved us. He presses 2 gifts in your hands. A pouch full of 10 gold pieces, a fortune for a place like this, and a key. This opened the south city gate of Kare, he tells you. I hope it is use. You perform one last transaction before you go, exchanging your emeralds for 24 further gold pieces with the chief. It is a much safer way to carry valuables, as you can stash them around your body, in your boots and under your belt. Then it is time to leave. Time to go. You take your leave. The path winds away from Tarapani, and soon you're on a downward slope, away from the Shamatanti hills through steep rice fields. As you walk, you feel for the first time the loneliness of the path ahead. Though Kare is a busy city, it is cruel, and beyond Kare there is nothing but vicious wasteland. You will have no one to trust in the days ahead. So let's walk on. For a brief moment, up the hills above the path, you fancy you see a figure stealing its way along some high and secret route. A figure all in black, but when you shade your eyes against the sun, whatever was there has disappeared. In the distance rises the wall of a great city, the first true stonework that you have seen since you left home. Click continue, and go to the flag to Kare. Well done. Your journey through the Shamatanti hills is completed. Along the way, you have gained the friendship of Vic, an influential man in the city, and Franco the assassin, and have been given 2 useful keys to the cells of the Red Eyes and to the gates of Kare. You have collected some magical artifacts, a large lump of beeswax, a cloth skull cap, 4 goblins' teeth, and a bamboo pipe. You are armed with the armband of sword mastery and your original sword, and have 5 rations and 40 gold pieces and a spell sword. Very, very well done to you for completing book 1. The only thing left to say to you now is that I'll see you in book 2, Kare, the city port of traps. I'll see you then.